Good evening. I'm Bill Profita. On behalf of the Chamber's Board of Directors, I'd like to thank you for joining us tonight for this political forum sponsored by the Ascension Chamber of Commerce and being aired on Channel 21, courtesy of the Ascension Parish government and Parish President Tommy Martinez. We believe that this forum will give candidates for Ascension Parish President an opportunity to answer questions on issues which are relevant to the business community pertaining to the future of economic growth, infrastructure, education, and planning for Ascension Parish. I'd like to introduce the candidates who are here tonight. First, Mr. Clint Quamont. Am I saying that properly?
It's Quint-Mont.
Quintamont, excuse me. Mr. Chris Lohr, Mr. Kenny Matassa. Joining us at some point during the course of the evening will be Ricky Diggs and Clarence Henry Jr. Before we get to the questions, I would like to read a brief bio of each of the candidates for you. Mr. Quamont was born and raised in Ascension Parish. He is the youngest of 4 children of Willard and Ruby Quamont. He and his wife, Stacy, have 3 kids, 2 growing boys and a sweet little girl. He attended St. Teresa of Avila School in the heart of Gonzales, and his first job was as a rod man in his father's company, working summers, surveying properties throughout Ascension Parish. He acquired the family business in 2007, and he's proud to say the company is closing in on 9,000 jobs completed. There is hardly a single parcel of land in this parish that his company is not familiar with. All of his experiences, whether personal, business, or political, have led him to this point, an opportunity to serve. Mr. Chris Lohr is a 2-term parish councilman and former council chairman. He graduated from LSU with a bachelor's degree in management and a master's degree in information systems. He was technology director for the Franciscan Missionaries of Our Lady Health System, and his family owns Color Wheel Learning Centers. A Leadership Ascension graduate, Chris has served on many nonprofit boards and in 2012 was named one of the Business Report's top 40 under 40. The 39-year-old Republican has been married to his wife Jody for 17 years and has 2 daughters, Evangeline and Sinclair. Evangeline is 10, Sinclair is 5. Mr. Diggs has not joined us yet. Ricky Diggs is a proud resident of Ascension Parish, the only place he's ever called home. He's requesting the support and vote of the citizens in Ascension Parish. He is ready to serve and will do so with integrity, honor, and respect. Mr. Diggs sees an opportunity to unify the parish by giving the residents of Ascension Parish the services they deserve from their hard work and taxes paid. He believes all our residents deserve better roads, drainage, and improved traffic solutions. Mr. Henry has not joined us yet. Clarence Henry Jr. is a resident of Donaldsonville. He has decided to run for parish president because he wants a better government system for all residents of Ascension Parish. He believes that the West Bank is sometimes forgotten, and when elected, he will make certain that both East and West Ascension citizens are all treated fairly. Mr. Henry has 7 beautiful children that support him in this endeavor. Kenny Matassa is a lifetime resident of Ascension and a graduate of our public schools. He's married to Selma Giat Matassa. They are the parents of 3 boys and have 3 daughters-in-law and 8 grandchildren. Kenny is a Christian and a member of Ministries of St. Teresa Catholic Church, past president of St. Teresa School Board, and a member of the founding committee that started St. John Primary School. He currently serves as director of the Ascension Health Department and DPW and has been a member of the Gonzales City Council for 19 years, currently serves as mayor pro tem. Kenny is a pro-Second Amendment, a member of the NRA, Ascension Sportsman League, and Ducks Unlimited member. And there you have your candidates, ladies and gentlemen. Now, to be fair, earlier this evening, each candidate drew a number, and that has determined the order in which they will answer questions. Mr. Quamont will answer the first question, followed by Chris Lohr. If they join us, then it will be Ricky Diggs and Clarence Henry, and then Mr. Matassa. And as we go through the questions, the one who drew number 2, which would be Chris Lohr, will answer next. The first will answer last, and so on and so forth. Each candidate will have 60 seconds to respond to the question. There will be no back and forth between the candidates, gentlemen. You have a timer that is in front of you that you will be able to see. And let's get started. Question 1. As always, traffic conditions continue to be a top priority in Ascension Parish. With a $300 million backlog and only approximately $8 million a year in the parish budget dedicated to roads, what is your plan for road improvement without an additional tax burden on our citizens and businesses?
Due to the aggressive nature of development in Ascension Parish, we have develop these subdivisions that all dump out onto our state roads. And due to lack of planning, we rely on the state to fix our traffic problems here in Ascension. And as parish government and as parish president, I want to start aggressively doing parish road projects. We're talking about improving intersections, improving light cycles, doing the things that move traffic on parish roads. That's what a parish president is responsible for, not state roads, parish roads. And so we need to aggressively attack roads and traffic and start doing road projects on the parish level. Once we do that, we can start moving traffic year one and then rely on the state to do long-term projects such as 42 and 73. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Lohr, would you like me to repeat the question, or are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
Have at it.
I have a two-pronged solution. The first is what I call a faster way to work plan, and the second is what I call a safe streets to school plan. But the way to fund all those improvements actually is four parts to the solution. The first is we have to get more aggressive with our federal and state tax dollars. It bothers me to see Livingston outpacing us from our state delegation when we are the economic engine here with our petrochemical corridor. The second is we need to be more efficient with operations. I believe we can save millions a year in modernizing parish government with technology and reinvesting that right in roads. The third is by new revenue partnerships, partnering with our plants. I've spoken to plant managers about running a line under the river from People's Water in Donaldsonville and actually supplying water to the East Bank. That would be a win-win in terms of revenue partnerships. That's just one example of new creative ways we can raise revenue. Impact fees would be another. And the last thing is tax rededication. I've always been a champion of whether it was the library board, whether it's Pontchartrain Levy District, of challenging the status quo and making do with what we have, or changing the status quo to really fund what our needs are.
Mr. Matassa, do you need the question restated, or are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
Please do.
First of all, I stated in the forum at Calico Cafe that I will aggressively seek a grant called Safe Roads to School, because there's roads where the buses can't pass. They'll hit, and God forbid one of our kids get hurt. This is a regional problem. It's state government and federal government, of course, local. And I will aggressively seek grants, but I will take the $8 million. Right now we got about 6.5, and when we have pay off debt service next year, we'll have $8 million. And then I'll, with new technology to make the roads last long, I will waterproof the roads so water cannot go under the road where it'll have a soft spot and break. It'll last a lot longer. I know how to put roads together. This from the interstate to Loosemore Road, we have got together with the developer, the state, and the city to 4-lane that road to Loosemore. Thank you.
All right, question number two. Mr. Lohr, you will go first on this one. A comprehensive parish water and sewer system has been discussed for years, with funding often prohibiting its implementation. Plans are finally underway, but there are still many issues. What is your assessment of the progress of providing sewer and water to all parish residents?
Well, it's an important issue, no doubt. I think it hampers our economic development, and I think it's certainly a quality of life issue as well. I don't like my kids playing in the ditch and seeing what's there. You know, frankly, it's the big X factor, as with anything, is funding, where we're going to get that, especially with none of us proposing new taxes. So I think the RFP that Parish Council and Parish Administration just recently put out is a step in the right direction. I'm very interested to see the details of the responses as they come in over the course of the next month. I think regardless of who wins, this will be a top priority for the next administration. The devil's in the details, of course, with what that means in terms of sewer tie-in fees and the impact to people's monthly bills, but it's something I strongly believe in, and I'm looking forward to seeing what those RFP is and responses in terms of a capital investment. Thanks.
Mr. Matassa, you need the question again?
No.
All right, please.
I believe the parish should move forward with parish-wide wastewater treatment because of the environment, the quality of life, and for our businesses. If we do not do something with our wastewater treatment, we will be stymie our economy for one thing, because the EPA will stop our permits, not just for new businesses, but to expand businesses. I do believe the only way to go with this, because of the economics, is a public-private partnership, because we do not own the customers. The customers are owned by private companies, and without customers, you cannot pay the bill. and that's why we have to do it that way. As far as the water, Baton Rouge Water has the whole east side, and on the west side, you have 2 water companies, which I will work with the Donaldsonville on the west bank, and the east bank, I'll have to work with Baton Rouge Water.
Mr. Quintemont, do you want the question again, or are you ready to go?
Ready to go.
Very good.
All right. As an elected parish president, your sole responsibility is with the citizen. And so I want to ensure that this public-private partnership is that the fees remain low and the hookup fees are affordable. Because first and foremost, if the citizens can't pay for it, then there's no need to have it. Now, we have a lot of individuals in our parish that are on fixed income, and so this is a very important issue for me. And so I want to fight hard to make sure that those fees are affordable as well as the hookup fees. Now, if the private-public partnership doesn't work out, we need to take a look at making adjustments to the Lamar-Dixon Sewer Treatment Facility, using that money to then run down Highway 30, run up 73, hook it into the actually go down Airline and hook it into 42, and utilizing that system from a parish standpoint, securing a $60 million loan, and moving forward with parish-wide sewer. And so that's the 2 options that I see coming in the future.
Thank you. Question number 3, gentlemen. The taxpayers of Ascension Parish have recently voted against a couple of items on the ballot that would have increased taxes. One of these failed attempts included an item that would have dedicated dollars to parks and recreation. Without additional dollars, do you have a plan to improve our parks and recreation throughout the parish? Mr. Matassa, you are first.
Well, as councilman in the city of Gonzales, we have done a lot of recreation without a 5 mil tax or any tax. We have took our old sewer plant and made an award-winning Jambalaya Park. We've built a spray park that recycles the water. The parish has built 2 spray parks, and as precious as water is, they're dumping water right now, and plus the water bill is very high. So you got to do things in a right way. For example, if we're going to do tennis courts, the city of Gonzales has millions of dollars worth of tennis courts in the city where people can play till 10 o'clock at night without any cost. Baseball fields are around the parish, and we need to get together with the cities to stretch every dollar in that area. But I do not see any problem with funding recreation.
Thank you. Mr. Quintemont, you are next.
Okay. First, we need to look at existing revenues, and then we need to look at lowering our maintenance costs and to ensure that we're efficiently upkeeping our current parks and recreation. Then we need to go out in the community, starting with the West Bank, where recreation is in a deplorable condition. We need to spend $500,000 to $1 million each year and improve, starting in the West Bank, the recreation there, and then moving to different parts of the parish. After a few years, we're going to have improved recreation in Ascension Parish, and we'll have this improved recreation without increasing taxes. Now, an important component to that is going out in the community to the people that use these parks, getting their input. That is important because they're the ones using our parks and recreation. So why shouldn't we start there and get their input and then improve those parks? We will have improved recreation in Ascension Parish. Thank you.
Mr. Lohr.
I think recreation is a critical part of Ascension Parish in terms of quality of life. It's proven to reduce crime and increase property values. I think the plan that the citizens group put together was a pretty good blueprint. There were some good ideas in there that we can use in terms of a future vision for recreation. I firsthand got to see Oak Grove and see what that's done for the community. I think spray parks are very popular. I like some of those elements of the plan. But I also think we need to partner with the school board and really move forward on some major initiatives that would be win-win for their students as well as the citizens in Ascension Parish. And lastly, we really need to get aggressive with grants. I think we could do a lot more in terms of funding some of these projects with federal and state grants that can do things like we did. Oak Grove actually had some funding from the state grants involved. So that's it.
Thank you. I want to mention that due to the fact that 2 of the candidates announced who have not arrived yet, The order for the next two questions and the response will be the same as it has been for this question. It's just the way the numbers worked out on the round robin, and then after that it gets a little more mixed up, gentlemen. I just wanted you to be aware of that. Here is the question, Mr. Matassa, you will be first on this one. If you were standing this minute in front of an international delegation that was looking to establish a company in our parish, what would you say to them to convince them that our parish is ready and open for business?
Well, first of all, Ascension Parish is a great place to live, and our people are greater. We have the workforce here, and we have the education, and of course, we're going to move forward with technology. We have a junior college in the parish that pretty soon they're going to have a VOTEC school on the side of it, and then a high school down the road where a kid can go to high school, VOTEC, and junior college the same day. I think a lot of people need to want to go to the 2-year degree where they can work in the plants and companies like that. I will work diligently with them for any kind of state grants and make it feasible for them to operate in Ascension Parish. But I do believe we have the people and the know-how to move the workforce forward.
Thank you. Mr. Quintmont, do you need the question again, or are you ready?
I'm ready.
Please go.
Okay. Due to our specific location between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, it provides an excellent location source for business moving in to the state of Louisiana, in addition to the mighty Mississippi River running through our parish. And so this creates a great economic opportunity for Ascension, which we have seen in the past several decades, and we have taken advantage of that. We currently are educating our workforce for these needed jobs in order for these plant expansions and these businesses operating in Ascension Parish, and we look forward to continuing that partnership with the industrial corridor to ensure that we have jobs and other economic opportunities for Ascension Parish.
Mr. Lohr.
Well, I actually had the chance to sit down with executives from Shell when they were considering building their plant here. And I will say that the one thing that stood out during those negotiations was, despite all the incredible things we have going for us in Ascension Parish, as has been stated, is the infrastructure. I think until we really improve our infrastructure, it's going to be a detriment for these mega corporations coming here. Now we've got the highest per capita income. We've got incredible people. We've got an incredible workforce. I'm proud to be on the RPCC board and really work forward with them in the schools and getting a workforce ready. But it is, I feel like, our Achilles heel, and so I'm not interested in for example, with Shell, they were not going to come here unless they were going to do improvements. And if we're going to get a mega corporation, and I do think we need to capitalize on our position, our geographic position between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, target those industries, we're going to have to make sure that infrastructure improvements come with it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't think your time is working.
Well, that's all right. I had time here, and actually, you all are being very good about your time. Most of you are finishing right at the buzzer or under. You're doing a real good job with that. You should work in radio. Question number 5, Mr. Matassa, you will be first. Our citizens are looking for a strong leader to help guide our parish. The past 8 years, our parish administration and the parish council have worked diligently together to move the parish forward. What leadership skills do you possess that will continue this upward trend?
Well, I've lived here all my life, and I've built a business. I went to school here, and I married and lived here, like a lot of our residents. I have the experience of being with the council in Gonzales 19 years, and we have done a lot of innovative things that I can do with the parish. I've worked with the parish 23 years, as an assistant coach, and I worked with all 3 presidents, and I learned something with all 3 presidents, and I was the go-to guy. Every time they had a project that needed somebody to handle, I got it. For Katrina, first of all, we opened up Lamar Dixon for 2,000 refugees, and then after I was tasked to run the Winn-Dixie, and we ran that for 6 weeks of giving everybody that didn't even have a shirt on their back. Also work with all the churches. I'm the type of guy that can put things together, and I will have transparency and accountability.
Thank you. Mr. Quintmont, you're next.
Yes. I believe that staying focused on projects and ensuring that these projects get done. I don't know of a single councilman that I've ever spoke to who doesn't want projects in their district. Now, each and every district is special, and understanding that is ultimately important to decipher what is needed in each and every district, so that working with each councilman that represents those citizens is crucial. But an administration has to be effective, and it has to get the job done. And I think that is where we have fallen short with roads, drainage, and recreation. And so I think that as these projects continue to get done, I think the working relationship with the council and administration will continue to improve, because that's how they represent the people in their district. Thank you.
Mr. Lohr.
Well, I'm pleased to have been a part of the last 8 years of progress in Ascension Parish. I think, as you mentioned, it wasn't long ago where things were differently between council and administration fighting and things not getting done. And so it's something that we've worked very hard on as a council, working together, and with the administration, something I think I can continue. I also feel like I'm the only one in the race who's got the business background that we need to run parish government like a business, manage a budget comparable to Ascension's budget, and I've used technology to save millions every year in operations, things that I think can help take Ascension Parish government to the next level. So just simply put, I feel like I have the right mix of political and professional experience to really move the parish forward.
All right, gentlemen, question number 6. The Ascension Chamber of Commerce is a strong supporter of the Ascension Economic Development Corporation, known as the AEDC. Do you intend to continue to utilize AEDC, and what steps will you take to provide AEDC the resources necessary to attract new businesses and assist existing business in Ascension Parish? Mr. Quinmont, you're first.
Okay. I believe to continue that partnership, I believe the downfall is our infrastructure and lack of in Ascension Parish. I think that is what business looks at first. And I think that's where we fall short. It's been mentioned up here before, and it needs to be mentioned again. And if you want businesses to move here, you have to provide those amenities that the other competing states and counties are offering. And so we have to start from a infrastructure standpoint so that these companies have everything they need to succeed, because that's what they're looking for. And that includes workforce, infrastructure, and those things. So, absolutely we're going to continue that partnership, but the administration and the council has to do their part as well. And that's the infrastructure part. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lohr.
I think our AEDC does a fantastic job. Unfortunately, we had to cut their funding about 5 years ago when we had an economic downturn. I'd like to see it restored from $322 to actually increase it to $400,000, with the caveat that we use that additional funding to have somebody full-time aggressively going after commercial development. I feel like Ascension Parish, we are very much we're not in the property tax game. Our funding is very much dependent upon sales taxes, and I'd like to make sure that our citizens have every opportunity possible to spend their money here from a financial bottom line perspective as well as a quality of life perspective. So, small business owners, I think all of us are small business owners. That's also critical. I'm glad to see they've also recently ramped up their rounds with small business owners, because industry, of course, is our biggest partner. But we can't have all our eggs in one basket, and we all know there's going to be an eventual downturn in industry.
Mr. Matassa, your turn.
I'm proud to say I was a member of the city council when Gonzales was asked to participate with the Economic Development Board. And we put up 25,000, and then later we put up 100,000. We did have to cut a while back down to 50, but we did resume it to 100,000, which I think is a good share for the city of Gonzales. We will work diligently with them to produce any. For example, when you got a good company big company wants to come in and have employment and spend a lot of money, you have to cut the red tape in government. And I know how to cut the red tape in government so businesses can cut the red ribbons of openings. I want to establish new jobs, not new taxes, and that's my goal. Thank you.
Question number 7 for you this evening, gentlemen. Impact fees continue to be a hot button in our parish. do you think impact fees are necessary? And if so, what industry would be targeted to pay impact fees? Mr. Lohr, you're first.
I do think impact fees are critical. It's something that will be one of the first priorities out of my administration. I think it's long overdue. We all know it's tough to pass with 2/3 of vote, and that's why it hasn't gotten done. But I think people are moving here and will continue to move here. I don't think it will be a detriment to people, but it will make growth pay for itself, which has, of course, been our biggest issue over the last decade. And so I fully support impact fees, and I'm for houses, for new development, and I am looking forward to the subcommittee's recommendations. Thanks.
Mr. Matassa.
Yes, well, on the city council, as Mayor Pro Tem of the city of Gonzales, we have implemented impact fees for sewer years ago, and I think it's like 2,000 a lot, and we never lost any subdivisions. In fact, you got Conway Plantation getting ready to build on almost 400 acres. But and as far as roads go, I think you have to take every project one at a time. For example, from the interstate to Loose Moor Road, it's you got the college, and then you have on the left you're going to have Conway Plantation, and we got together with the developer and the state and the city of Gonzales, and we're going to 4-lane it all the way to Loose Moor Road, and then the state's going to do the roundabout after that. So to me, you do it one project at a time, and that's the way to do it. You put the deal together before you give out the permits to start the project.
Mr. Quintmon.
I truly believe that impact fees will be coming at the first part, at least the first quarter. It will be discussed in Ascension Parish with this open gate policy with residential development, and currently and recently having 41 new subdivisions added to the rolls, and countless new cars on our lackluster road infrastructure. I think that you have to look at every revenue source, and I think that people are frustrated because they sit in traffic, and I think that they think and want impact fees in relationship to road projects. And I think you'll be seeing that in the first quarter of next year as with residential development as impact fees. And we just got to make sure that we efficiently spend that money and we get those projects done.
All right, moving on. Question number 8, gentlemen. The Ascension Chamber of Commerce believes a good business model is imperative when running an organization. What is your assessment of operations within parish government, and are there ways you feel you could make it more efficient? Mr. Matassa, you're first.
Okay. Well, from day one, I'm going to call on each department and ask for transparency and accountability. I'm going to cut any waste that we have and any duplication. I will ask for accountability of each department to give a report every month about the finances and projects done and not done. I will also do this with the companies that have projects on the contract, and I do believe that with the new technology we can do, for as example, upgrading all of the finance department to new technology will save us millions, and we can use that on the roads as well as anything else we can save. The software needs to be done. It really needed to be done about 7 years ago. So that's my plan, and sticking to it.
I'll wait for a reset here so
Sure.
to make sure you get all your time.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Quintmont, we're ready. Do you need the question again?
Nope.
Go for it.
Okay. I believe there's a ton of inefficiencies in Ascension Parish government. I think that you have to go in as a parish president, you got to analyze each department. And when we mention accountability, you got to understand it's not just about parish employees. It's about the upper administration. It's about leadership. It's about deciding where those tax dollars go into projects. And I think that once you show that you're accountable from a leadership standpoint, being the #1 guy, I think that leadership will follow through at all levels and in every department. But you have to be efficient with tax dollars from the administration standpoint. And I also believe there should be incentive programs for our parish employees. I talked to parish employees, hadn't seen raises in over a decade. You know, if you're going to treat your employees right, if you want them to perform, you have to treat your employees right. And I don't think that that's happening. So, again, I believe leadership starts at the top.
Mr. Lohr.
I use technology and business management principles for the largest healthcare system in Louisiana, making them more efficient by revamping their business processes and saving millions a year in operations. That's what I do. And so I really want to bring that approach to all departments in parish government. I also want to create a culture of pay for performance and not this blanket raises that happen now that have no tie to their actual performance evaluation. I mean, those are common sense business things that happen at every business, big or small. And lastly, I really want to create a culture as well that is never satisfied with the status quo. It's always looking for ways to improve things and rewards and incentivizes people to come up with new ideas for better service. I think, unfortunately, government by its very nature just gets lazy because it's always going to get that tax dollar. Businesses have to constantly compete for their customers. I want to have that mentality as when running parish government as its CEO.
Thank you. Question number 9, gentlemen. All of you sitting up here have the heart to serve this great parish, but what sets you apart from your opponents? Mr. Matassa, you are first.
Well, I've always been a person that can work with other people. I was in business, and then I worked construction. I worked in every aspect of government, and you have to work with everybody and get things done. I believe the employees know that I'm the type of guy that I will give you 8 hours pay for 8 hours worth of work. And I can have transparency in government with accountability. I do believe you need to start at the top with your supervisors, and if a supervisor can't do his job, then you get one that can. But we do have good supervisors with Ascension Parish, and we can get the job done. We just got to motivate people in the right areas, and I can do that. Thank you.
Mr. Quinmont.
Yes. Being a land surveyor, it's not a part of this parish I hadn't stepped foot on, and that's in every corner. And I go around and I sit in the congested traffic. I go around and I look at culverts and bridges with debris piled up at the bottom, and I see the frustration. And so when you allow this to happen, what happens is people keep paying taxes into the system, but then there becomes an amount of distrust. And so when you're looking for a leader who's going to get it done, you're looking at character, and that's super important, as well as the leadership skills to get the job done. But ultimately it's working with people and individuals to ensure at the end of the day that the taxpayer is receiving something for their tax dollars, and not just bigger government and not just more government waste. So I want to ensure that the job gets done.
Mr. Lohr.
Well, first, let me say that I think these are two fine gentlemen. I haven't had the chance to meet the other two, but I think Ascension Parish is in a good place regardless. I would say that unlike the others, I have been in the unique position of being on the council and have developed working relationships with fellow councilmen over the years that I think will help me hit the ground running. And also, as I mentioned earlier, my business and technology background, I think I can bring that approach to parish government. And I think we're making progress. Of course, it's not where it needs to be. We can always do better. I think we're humming along in 4th gear right now in parish government. I really want to just crank that up to 5th gear and work on finding the 6th gear and have that culture of always trying to constantly improve and always doing better. But I think I have that right mix of professional and political experience. Thanks.
Well, gentlemen, you are near the end of your water glasses, and we have but one question left, and then we're going to let you make your closing statements. And this is question number 10, and it's a short one. If elected, what are your plans to utilize Lamar Dixon? Mr. Matassa, you're first.
Well, Lamar Dixon is the crown jewel of Ascension Parish. Mr. Martinez did a great job in acquiring it with the help of Mary Landrieu and Senator Amadei and others. I will run it to the best of my ability to be a service to the people of Ascension Parish. For instance, New Wave Rodeo, little rodeo for the kids, which I went to this weekend. It's things like that I want to get at Lamar Dixon. And I in Lamar Dixon because we're not set up to do those small things. I think we need to do the small things and the big things. And I do have ideas to promote big functions over there that will bring in dollars, but you also got to let the parish use it because it is for the parish. And I know how to work with the Boy Scouts and the churches and all other entities to use it properly.
Mr. Quinmont.
As I go around the parish, I discuss Lamar Dixon with citizens, and they ask me, what's at Lamar Dixon? And I said, well, you've been to the lighted walk path, haven't you? They said, well, what are you talking about? From a parish standpoint, we don't even promote Lamar Dixon. The citizens don't even know what's there. And so let's start with promotion. Second thing is, let's go in and look at the services we provide for event coordinators. How can we be more efficient? How can we serve so that we can have a truly multi-use facility? Let's work with those to see what needs to be done. I mean, I hear stories that events are going on the weekend and the part-time employees do not have uniform on. And you don't even know who's working for parish government or who's there for the event. It's these type of things that you have to change. And so you do have to go look at the business model, and you do have to look at how you can service these event coordinators so that you can have more events at Lamar Dixon.
Thank you. Mr. Lohr.
I'm pleased to say I've always been a supporter of Lamar Dixon, even when times were rough at the beginning when it was in the red. I think we've made some moves towards really helping it become a 365-day-a-year rental facility. That's what I'd like to see. But the climatizing of the buildings, you now are looking at something where you could have dance competitions, you could have antique shows, you could have a film production, in one of the buildings. There's no limit to the amount of things you could have, especially because we are between Baton Rouge and New Orleans. We could have business conventions. I met a chief of the Louisiana Choctaw Nation on the trail not long ago. He wanted to have a powwow, and we thought about using Lamar Dixon for that. So it is about marketing. It's about being aggressive. It's about really changing our mindset from just kind of a weekend only kind of thing to just every day we need to have something booked up, and that'll make a big difference in terms of our financial bottom line as well as the quality of life for citizens in this parish.
Gentlemen, we've gone through all the questions for this forum, which brings us to the time where you will make your closing statements. You will have 90 seconds each for your closing statements, and we're going to go back to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 order. Obviously, 2 are missing, so it will be 1, 2, and 3. Mr. Quinmont, you're first.
For 2.5 years, I've canvassed Ascension Parish, talking to citizens and getting input. I found that we had one thing in common: frustration with roads, traffic, lack of drainage protection. And, the one thing that they express is the lack of communication and the lack of things getting done. And, when we're looking for a leader and you're looking for someone who is going to get the job done, who's going to build trust, you have to look at the individual. You have to ensure that they got the character, they got the conservative values in order to make the hard decisions in order to move Ascension Parish forward. You're talking about less studies and more road projects, less wasteful spending and better drainage protection, lack of disconnect and more transparency. So when I ask not only for your vote, I ask for the opportunity to serve you and the opportunity to represent you. And I think that's kind of what separates me. I'm not that elected official. I'm not that politician. I'm your representative. And so this election season, I ask, get out and vote the clear choice. Vote Clint Quinmont, number 67. Thank you.
Mr. Lohr, your 90 seconds for a closing statement.
Thank you. 6 months ago, I gave up my career with the health system and resigned my job so that I could knock doors full-time and start this campaign. My family and I have also been sacrificing for years. We actually live in a 950 square foot house with one bathroom, which is tough with a few girls, I can promise you. We did this so that we could be all in on this campaign, because we truly believe, ever since we've moved here, this is an incredible parish that's frankly right now at a crossroads in its history with growth. And I've learned, just being on the council, what it means to feel like you can be a part of something that's making a difference in your community. I referenced Oak Grove earlier, and being able to drive by that and see something that I had a vision for and worked with my colleagues on the council administration to see that come to life and see the difference it's made in that community, it fills me up. It's more rewarding to me than a job to feel like I'm a part of something that's making a difference in this community for our children and our grandchildren. And so being a leader of this parish and working with others to really solve all these other problems that we've been talking about tonight, specifically with traffic, and seeing that difference made, it's just something that has been rewarding to me, and I truly believe in public service, and that's why I'm in this. I'm all in on Ascension, and I just humbly ask you to let me take my skills and my background and my education and put them to work for you. So I just humbly ask for your vote, and I appreciate the opportunity to address you tonight. Thanks.
Mr. Matassa, your closing statement, please.
Thank you very much for hearing us out tonight. I hope it helps people to decide what to do to go vote. We all know Ascension Parish has a bright future, but we cannot take the chance of having to be choked down. And what I mean is, if we don't do something with this traffic, we're going to lose businesses, no new businesses will come, and our extraordinary form of life we have in Ascension is going to go away. I've worked for 3 parish presidents. I am not a politician, I am a public servant. Every time the phone rings, I say, how can I help you? These 3 parish presidents that I worked for were not easy to work for, but I was the go-to guy. When you had a problem, they called me and I got it done. We had the catastrophe with Katrina and others, and I was right in there and took care of the problems. I've been an assistant coach, but now I'm asking you to be the leader of the team. I know how to work people. I know what to do and who to call on. The traffic problem is a regional problem with state and feds and local. And I've worked with all 3 agencies. I've worked with DEQ. I've got a $15 million grant, not a grant, but loan from DEQ for the city of Gonzales. Thank you, and thank you in all your prayers for the time my family's been in this difficult time. And please vote for me. Thank you.
Thank you all. And on behalf of the Ascension Chamber of Commerce, we want to thank these 3 parish president candidates for joining us for this informative forum. We appreciate their attendance. Gentlemen, thank you so much, and their commitment to serve the residents of Ascension Parish. Now, due to the absence of 2 of the candidates who were scheduled to be with us, we are under our allotted time. So what we're going to do is this telecast is going to take a short break. It will resume at 7:30 with a forum for State Senator District 2. Thank you all for watching tonight. Good night.